welcome back to Dear Teen Diary. I am Greta Colburn. This is my fabulous bedroom where I am hanging out because my daughter is napping in the living room today. So that's where she fell asleep, that's where she gets to stay. We are also joined by my regal dog, Professor. Professor, how are you today? Belly rubs, belly rubs. We have entry 89, die. So a couple times in here I say die, and I'm just abbreviating diary. I don't actually mean die, D-I-E, in case that wasn't clear. So, die. Day after tomorrow is the last day of school. My seeker thing won't be ready. Too bad, but I can still practice Wicca. NMH, standing for not much here, and then G2G, got to go, heart, Greta Colburn. So when I was in 7th grade, my other neighbor, she lived on the same side of the street as me, but across the street from Sarah. Her name was Ellen. I hung out with Ellen a lot in the end of 7th grade and during this summer, but she was a year older than me, so she started going to high school the next year and moved shortly after that. She's sort of a brief character, but at the time at least, she was Wiccan, and her first name, I believe, was Panther. And she recommended this book to me that was incredibly popular at the time, called Teen Witch. It was by Silver Ravenwolf. And I remember a lot of people in the Wiccan community actually being rather irritated with her because she was trying to make it like this new trendy thing, and they thought she wasn't taking the religion very seriously. Looking back, I don't know whether or not she was. I don't really have a lot of comments on the book Teen Witch itself, but I do know that at the time I was starting to feel extremely ostracized for not having a religion because I was raised completely without one. I would say that my mother is atheist and my dad is a theist. He definitely believes in some sort of God. I don't know necessarily that he is a Christian, but my grandparents on his side certainly were. In my particular suburb of Minnesota, almost everyone was Lutheran. I think it was Lutheran. I'd already learned a lot of the fallacies that sort of exist in Christianity and a lot of the contradictions between even certain parts of the New Testament that are practiced versus ones that aren't practiced. That being said, I did start to desperately want to belong to some kind of religion, to have some kind of hope for life after death, and the idea that there was someone out there to care and listen, which I do think can be very important if you're going through depression, to have a higher purpose, but I don't necessarily think that that higher purpose needs to be otherworldly. I did enjoy my time being Wiccan, and I did enjoy having a god and a goddess to pray to and to do little ceremonies to sort of spells I always looked at as very directed prayer, where instead of having like a prayer stone or, actually going and doing communion or those sorts of things that are more popular in different types of Christ's followings, it was much more productive for me to say a small poem, cast a circle, lay out artifacts that represented nature to me. Because I think whether or not you believe in a god, nature is by far the most beautiful and spectacular thing that we'll ever get to see on this earth. And I think that there's a lot of magic in it, whether or not that magic is anything more than just the fractals you see in the formations of ice, or all the different shapes and sizes of all the different kinds of trees. Anyway, so that was the last entry of 7th grade, and I will go ahead and keep the entries of the summer after 7th grade on my little playlist that I have of all the, 6th grade entries, all the 7th grade entries, and then we'll be starting 8th grade in this same diary. There won't be a whole ton of entries for it. Anyway, if you missed my last entry, I talked a little bit about the Dungeons & Dragons RPG I was doing at the time, as well as getting excited about practicing Wicca, and there will be a link for that right up here. And once the next entry is done, the link for that right down in this corner. And I hope that you're having a fabulous day. I'm gonna stay in, but I am gonna find fun things to do, like belly rubs, belly rubs, belly rubs, belly rubs.